Well, I mean, when I first started rapping, it was '82, and that's when, that was like a popular thing back then. With a lot of rappers.
Tucked away on a quiet New York street sits a home that doesn't shout money. It whispers legacy. Big Daddy Kane doesn't need high gates, security guards, or flashy headlines to remind the world who he is. No luxury cars lined up outside, no oversized mansion begging for attention, just peace, privacy, and the quiet confidence of a man who already conquered his era. And to understand why Kane lives this way today, we have to rewind the clock. So hit like, hit subscribe, and let's step back into the story. Big Daddy Kane, born Antonio Hardy on September 10, 1968, came up in Brooklyn at a time when hip-hop was still writing its own rulebook. His name wasn't accidental. Kane came from the calm, disciplined warrior in kung fu films, while Big Daddy announced authority before he ever had to prove it. From day one, Kane wasn't chasing what was hot. He was mastering the craft, studying lyricism, control, and presence. Before the world knew his name, Kane was already building the foundation of a legend. The real turning point came in 1984, when Kane linked up with Biz Markie. Behind the scenes, Kane became one of the sharpest pens in New York, quietly writing bars that helped fuel Biz's early rise. That partnership opened the door to the legendary Juice Crew in 1986, a ruthless, talent-packed collective led by producer Marley Marl. Inside the Juice Crew, lyricism was everything. Skill was the currency. And Kane stood out fast. By 1987, he landed a deal with Cold Chillin Records and dropped his first single, Raw. It wasn't made for radio spins. It was made to earn respect. The record tore through the underground, buzzing from block to block, and set the stage for something bigger. In 1988, long lived the Kane hit, and hip-hop felt the shift. The album became a blueprint for technical rap. Ain't No Half-Steppin' put Kane's mastery on full display. Razor-sharp internal rhymes, a smooth, effortless flow, and unshakable confidence. It influenced an entire generation of MCs who came after him. And Kane wasn't done. Later that same year, he raised the bar again with It's a Big Daddy Thing. This time, he blended gritty street lyricism with clean production and timeless soul samples, proving he could dominate both the streets and the sound system. Big Daddy Kane wasn't just participating in hip-hop's golden era, he was helping define it. Tracks like The Symphony weren't just songs, they were declarations. Every verse was a flex, a statement of dominance within the Juice Crew. By the early 1990s, Kane had earned a reputation as one of the most complete rappers in the game. But his influence wasn't confined to hip-hop. He crossed into R&B, lending his talents to Patti LaBelle's album, contributing to the Juice soundtrack, and even earning a Grammy for his work on Quincy Jones's Back on the Block. During hip-hop's golden age, from the mid-'80s through the late '90s, Big Daddy Kane wasn't just a star, he was foundational. Kane also embraced acting, fashion, and performance. He appeared in films like Posse and The Meteor Man, while touring with younger artists who hung on every move, studying his stagecraft like a masterclass. Jay-Z even opened for Kane early in his career, a glimpse at just how deeply Kane's influence runs. Even as commercial rap shifted toward hooks over lyricism, Kane stayed true to his craft. By the late '90s, studio releases slowed, but his reputation, untouchable. His legacy had already been cemented. Kane didn't stop. He kept touring the world, appearing in documentaries, collaborations, and tribute shows that reminded everyone why he's a cornerstone of hip-hop. In 2020, he made a powerful return with Enough, a protest record confronting police brutality, proof that, decades in, his voice still carries weight when it matters most. After shaping the foundation of an entire genre, Kane's journey now leads somewhere quieter. Inside his New York home, the Golden Age icon lives far from the spotlight and the noise he helped create, a life of calm, privacy, and the quiet authority of a legend who's already earned his place in history. Nestled in Brooklyn, New York, This home spans roughly 4,000 square feet, blending classic Brooklyn charm with modern restraint. With 5 serene bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms spread across multiple levels, every corner is designed to breathe. Original architectural details remain where they matter, while everything else has been thoughtfully updated for today's standards. At the heart of the home is the kitchen, a space built for living, not showing off. A massive Taj Mahal quartz island anchors the room, surrounded by custom white oak cabinetry designed for everyday use. High-end touches like a GE cafe cooktop and a Fisher and Paykel column fridge speak to quality without screaming luxury. This is a kitchen for long conversations and quiet moments, not Instagram snapshots. Upstairs, the primary suite feels intentionally private, a retreat from the rest of the house. Vaulted ceilings stretch the space upward, while skylights fill the room with soft, natural light. The bathroom leans spa-like but stays grounded. A walk-in shower with a Brizo system, a double walnut vanity, and clean, minimalist lines, all designed to calm the mind rather than overwhelm the senses. This is a home built to recharge, not to impress. Upstairs, 4 additional bedrooms and 2 full bathrooms are thoughtfully laid out. Rooms that don't chase trends, but offer real versatility. Guest bedrooms, creative spaces, or family living, each one fits seamlessly into the flow of the house without disrupting its calm rhythm. Down below, the fully finished basement expands the possibilities. It can become a media room, private gym, playroom, or quiet office. With its own ensuite bathroom, the space functions almost like a self-contained world, ready to adapt to whatever life demands next. Outside, the home keeps the same ethos: understated, purposeful, and rewarding restraint over showmanship. Every corner reflects thoughtful living, not flashy display. A wraparound patio invites slow mornings with coffee and long, quiet evenings under the sky. The landscaped backyard feels intimate yet practical, built for real living rather than just looking good. Add a rare 2-car garage and private driveway, almost unheard of in Brooklyn, and the daily grind becomes optional, not mandatory. Inside, the home is fully modernized without losing its character. Triple-glazed Pella Reserve windows paired with rock wool insulation keep the space serene and energy efficient. A 5-zone climate system lets every room feel just right. Upgraded electrical and plumbing systems, Cat 6 wiring, and discreet exterior CCTV bring the house firmly into the 21st century. Warm touches like unpainted brass fixtures and custom woodwork create comfort without excess, proving that luxury can be quiet, intentional, and effortless. Location completes the picture. Just a 7-minute stroll from Prospect Park's Parade Square and tennis courts, this home sits in one of Brooklyn's most sought-after neighborhoods. Yet, despite its prime spot and quiet prestige, there's a lingering mystery. Does Big Daddy Kane still call this place home, or is he simply enjoying it as a temporary retreat? When the city's noise demands distance, the retreat shifts south to a very different kind of refuge. Welcome to Antonio and Shawnette's home in Wake Forest, North Carolina. In March 2016, they purchased the property for $454,000. Today, it's valued around $800,000, a quiet testament to patience over speculation. But the real value isn't in the numbers. This house is about balance, a home built for living, not headlines. Step inside, and the scale immediately sets the tone. Soaring ceilings stretch across the ground floor, creating openness without excess. The main family room feels calm and intentional, anchored by new flooring and a dramatic wall of windows that pulls natural light deep into the space. This isn't luxury meant to impress, it's luxury meant to breathe. The foyer flows seamlessly into a formal dining room framed by arched windows, while a private study invites reflection more than work. Beyond that, a second living area centers on a fireplace and custom shelving. a space designed for everyday life, not for show. This is where evenings naturally slow down. The kitchen strikes the perfect balance between modern and warm. Granite countertops, custom cabinetry, stainless steel appliances, and a large seating island make it both functional and social. A place for cooking, conversation, and connection. A subtle, apron-style sink nods to classic design, grounding the space in timeless comfort. Just off the kitchen, a breakfast nook bathes in morning sunlight, while a newly tiled sitting room, with its own fireplace, turns everyday moments into small rituals. A nearby full bathroom keeps the space practical and family-friendly, making this floor as livable as it is beautiful. The primary suite, tucked on the ground floor, is deliberately set apart from the rest of the house. Tray ceilings stretch the space upward, while a walk-in closet is flooded with natural light. The spa-style bathroom is designed for true recovery. Dual sinks, a whirlpool tub, and a steam shower that feels less about luxury and more about restoration. This is where the home's pace finally slows. Upstairs, secondary bedrooms continue the theme of calm and thoughtful space. Every bathroom is finished with care, including massage-style shower heads that quietly reinforce comfort. A tucked-away home theater with projector and oversized screen offers private cinematic escapes, while a gym and multi-purpose room provide flexibility without pressure. Spaces designed to fit life, not impress it. A mezzanine-style hallway overlooks the lower level, connecting the home visually and emotionally from top to bottom. Every detail was designed with purpose. An elevated, reinforced concrete foundation, energy-conscious construction, tankless water heaters, and durable windows all speak to longevity over trends. Even the oversized garage door feels deliberate, built for real life, not just show. From a home rooted in calm, privacy, and intentional design, the story now shifts toward numbers, but not the kind that ever defined his legacy. Big Daddy Kane, the legendary rapper and producer, has an estimated net worth of under $3 million, a number that surprises many casual listeners. But for anyone who understands hip-hop history, it adds up. Kane came up in an era where influence often outweighed ownership. Cultural impact came first, long before artists had the leverage or business control to secure modern-style fortunes. His financial foundation was built in hip-hop's golden age, particularly through his early work with the Juice Crew. That era didn't produce huge paychecks by today's standards, but it did create timeless music catalogs, work that still resonates decades later. Big Daddy Kane's most reliable income comes from his music royalties and timeless catalog. Albums like Long Live the Kane and It's a Big Daddy Thing still generate steady revenue through streaming, licensing, and cultural reuse. Tracks like Ain't No Half Steppin' and Smooth Operator continue to be sampled, studied, and celebrated, quietly earning money while shaping new generations of MCs. Live performances and touring now form another key part of his earnings. Kane remains a sought-after act at festivals, old-school hip-hop showcases, and curated events where fans come not just for nostalgia, but for pure skill. Decades into his career, his reputation as a disciplined, commanding performer keeps demand strong and consistent. Collaborations and guest appearances have also played a role in Kane's career. Over the years, he's lent verses, songwriting, and creative input to projects alongside icons like Tupac Shakur, keeping his influence alive well beyond his own catalog. Outside of music, Kane earned income through acting and media, appearing in films like Posse and The Meteor Man. These roles didn't bring massive paydays, but they expanded his profile and opened new opportunities. He also benefited from early-era brand visibility, including modeling moments, most famously tied to Madonna's Sex Book, and other partnerships common in hip-hop's formative years, when exposure often mattered more than long-term equity. Through earnings built on influence rather than excess, Big Daddy Kane's story has always been about responsibility. The question of what you do with your voice once the spotlight is already yours. Philanthropy, Big Daddy Kane has never chased headlines with flashy charity work. His approach to giving has been quiet, deliberate, and rooted in culture, built on the belief that hip-hop itself can be a tool for education and survival. One of his longest-standing commitments has been with the Universal Zulu Nation. Founded by Afrika Bambaataa, the Zulu Nation has spent decades empowering youth, promoting cultural education, and fighting violence. Kane has performed at and supported Zulu Nation events, using hip-hop not just as entertainment, but as a framework for discipline, history, and self-respect, teaching young people that the music they love can also guide and uplift them. During the 1990s and early 2000s, Kane was outspoken about HIV/AIDS awareness, at a time when many in the music industry stayed silent. He took part in benefit concerts and campaigns with organizations like the American Foundation for AIDS Research, helping shine a spotlight on prevention, education, and research. His approach wasn't about giving speeches, it was about visibility, using his presence to normalize conversations that hip-hop had often avoided. Kane's commitment extended to Lifebeat, the organization behind the slogan, "The music industry fights AIDS." Performing at Lifebeat events alongside fellow hip-hop and R&B artists, he helped reinforce the message that musicians had a responsibility beyond the charts, proving that influence could and should be used to educate and protect. At his Brooklyn home, Kane has quietly championed anti-violence initiatives and youth mentorship programs. Partnering with local community centers, schools, and hip-hop summits, he's spoken, performed at benefit events, and reached out to young people, guiding them away from gun violence and toward creative expression. Kane has also stepped up during moments of national crisis. After Hurricane Katrina in 2005, he joined hip-hop-led fundraising efforts and benefit performances supporting organizations like the American Red Cross. These contributions weren't flashy or heavily publicized, but they played a meaningful role in larger community-driven relief efforts, showing that influence, when used thoughtfully, can ripple far beyond the stage. For Big Daddy Kane, philanthropy has never been a separate chapter. It's always been part of the culture itself, an extension of his art and influence. That same grounded mindset shapes everything else in his life, guiding how he lives, loves, and safeguards his private world. On May 7, 2010, Big Daddy Kane married Shawnette Hardy in a quiet, private ceremony in North Carolina, far from cameras, headlines, and industry noise. Shawnette is a professional dancer, choreographer, and certified yoga instructor, someone whose life is built around balance and discipline. Their bond went far deeper than music. Shawnette is Muslim, and Kane had converted to Islam in the early 2000s, well before their marriage. That shared faith became the foundation of their relationship, guiding how they approached family, privacy, and everyday life. The two first met in 2007 when Shawnette appeared in Kane's music video for "I'm All In." What started as a professional collaboration slowly grew into a quiet, lasting relationship. They dated for several years, prioritizing stability over the spotlight. By the time they married, Kane was already stepping back from the chaos that had defined much of his early career. Faith played a central role in that transition. Kane has spoken openly about how Islam helped him slow down, reflect, and redefine success, not as fame or visibility, but as inner peace. Prayer, structure, and accountability replaced the late nights and non-stop touring that once dictated his life, grounding him in a rhythm far steadier than the stage ever offered. Fatherhood came later in Kane's life, and he often calls that timing a blessing. He has two children, a son, Antonio Jr., born in the early 1990s, and a daughter, Layla, born in 2011. In interviews, including appearances on Drink Champs and The Breakfast Club in 2023, Kane has shared how becoming a husband and father at a more mature stage gave him a sense of grounding he never had in his 20s. Today, Big Daddy Kane lives far differently from the image fans remember from hip-hop's golden age. He still performs and commands respect, but his priorities are no longer measured in crowd size or chart positions. They're measured in faith, family, and the quiet confidence that comes from truly knowing who you are. long after the noise has faded. If you enjoyed this inside look at Big Daddy Kane's life, legacy, and the quiet world behind the music, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who really appreciates hip-hop history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.